इसको अब लगा दो, पॉकेट में डाल दो, इसको डाल दे, बंद है पॉकेट में, यहाँ पे डाल दो, छुट्टी में वो डाल दो।
Good afternoon, everyone. It's wonderful to see such enthusiastic faces as we step into day 5 of our faculty development program. In this era where cyber threats evolve faster than ever, traditional defenses often struggle to keep pace. That's where next-gen security steps in, powered with artificial intelligence and blockchain, two groundbreaking technologies reshaping how we safeguard data, systems, and identities. Together, these technologies form a powerful alliance, setting new standards for cybersecurity resilience and digital trust. And to explore this transformative convergence, we are honored to have Mr. Shivam Malviya sir, a strategic leader and head of security operations at CloudNet Technologies, with over a decade of experience building global SOCs, leading incident response, and innovating with AI-driven defense systems. Now, I would like to invite Associate Dean Training, Dr. Rohit Saxena sir, to present the token of appreciation to our esteemed speaker. Thank you, sir. So let's welcome Mr. Shivam Malviya sir to take us into the fascinating world of next-gen security services using AI and blockchain.
Thank you. Is my voice audible? Hello? 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 Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for the introduction. Let me tell you about myself. So I have more than 15 years of experience in cybersecurity, and I started my career from TCS, and after that I built my own company in Australia, which is CSP Global, and I'm still the part of that company. However, I have sold it to a big fish. Then I joined a company in Malaysia as a head of security operations, right? So, yeah. So if you talk about next generation security services and blockchain, right? So what it comes to your mind? So we have seen in cybersecurity that you can have a hopeless end or you can have an endless hope. Choice is yours, right? It can make you or it can break you. So we are going to see that how next gen security services are going to help us in securing the environment for our customers or for colleges, schools, and many more things that we are going to look into it. So here are the quick 6 segments that we are going to cover. The first is cyber threat evolution. Second is AI in cybersecurity. Third is blockchain security primitives. And fourth is AI blockchain convergence. And then fifth is research, future directions. Then last is conclusion. So if you talk about the cyber threat evolution, right? So we're going to discuss about what revolution is going to be and how the cyber is actually shaping the entire landscape in security. So AI-driven threat landscape shifts, right? So we are seeing that modern threats are no longer mandatory, right? They are actually recommended in different platforms. We have seen that, like how traditional SOC is actually not behaving properly. We have many attacks which is actually happening around the world that, like if you can probably, for an example, if I say that if you click on a phishing link, right, even you don't have to enter the password, your account is already going to get compromised. So attackers are too much sophisticated these days, right? So how we can secure it, right? So as I said that modern attacks leverage AI for polymorphic malware. What is polymorphic malware? Which is going to spread automatically, right? It doesn't matter that it is going to detect within the antivirus, it is going to change the code automatically based on the detection rules, right? So these are the latest AI attacks which is actually happening. So if you talk about the traditional antivirus solutions, it can easily bypass it. So what solution we can probably get it out? So that's, we are going to see that how blockchain and next gen security services is going to help us. Now, if you see that, I think this is a little bit blur, right? So if you see that this is a hacker GPT, right? If I just type simple word as a 10th class student, I can probably type, I wanted to hack something. It is going to give you the results, what steps you have to take. If I say that, okay, tell me something that what loopholes this particular website is having, or how I can hack anyone's account in terms of social engineering, it can probably give you everything on a tip of your fingers, right? So this is what hacker GPT is, which anyone can easily use it. If I say that, okay, any student can stand up and say that, okay, use this, type this, right? Simply I'm going to give the commands and we are going to give the results based on how you have to hack it. Then you have a deepfake phishing, which means that we have AI clone voices, we have like AI videos. Someone can impersonate faculties or students, right? Drop a phishing email, and it's going to be a trap. So what cybersecurity is, right? You read on your books, right? That cybersecurity is something related to security and something like that, right? But actually, cybersecurity is people protecting people. That's exactly the cybersecurity is, right? So in this deepfake phishing, right? So that's a synthetic media. You see on Instagram, you see on Facebook, there are like couple of deepfakes, videos, images, which is currently being spread. How we can track this out? We are going to track it using artificial intelligence and blockchain. That's what we are going to see that. Any questions? We are going to take that later at the session. Now, the breaking point of legacy cyber security, right? Now, we merge both the technologies, right? AI blockchain as well as the artificial intelligence in terms of including both into the traditional defense as well as the AI blockchain solution. Now, from my point of view, what I am actually seeing, right, when we are dealing with customers, I'm giving you the live scenario. When we are dealing with customers, we are seeing that there are high false positive rates when we are working in any kind of security contract. For the customers or for the governments, right, so many alerts are getting triggered, right, and we are seeing that 90% are false positive. Now, how we can probably make that into true positive or benign positive? Can someone tell me what is false positive? What are false positive alerts? Anyone else? What is false positive? False positive simple means that it's a false alert. False alert, right? What is true positive? That's true alert, right? It means that that is definitely a attack, right? Definitely something related to attack, right? What is benign positive? Suspicious but expected, right? So these are the like technical terms, right? When you are going to work in any organizations as a SOC analyst level 1, level 2, level 3, you are going to see all those things, like we have different kind of ticketing solutions, we have different kind of like SIEM solutions. What is SIEM solution? SIEM tool? Yes, right? That's a centralized tool where you get the logs, you correlate the alerts, then the like incidents are getting generated, right? So that is SIEM tool. So the same case that we are actually seeing within the SIEM tool also, right? You are going to, as a SOC analyst, you are going to work here, you are going to investigate, you are going to say that, okay, this is something related to false positive, going to close it out, true positive, benign positive, and do the investigations. When you're going to work on a larger organization, these things are going to be very common. Nobody is going to tell you that this attack is happening. You are going to tell about what is cybersecurity. Nobody is going to ask you that. It's all about the practical experience that you are going to inculcate, right? Now, we have seen this, like the traditional defenses, right? We are having high false positive rates and alert fatigue. We are getting many alerts. Delayed patch cycles. We have seen that we use Google Chrome, Mozilla, right? And we have 0 days in that. Like, let's suppose that if I am a hacker, right? If I am an ethical hacker, or I am into a blue team or purple team, right? So how we can probably exploit the browser? For an example, I say that whenever you do Google, right, anything, you see the ads coming in, right, on a web page. So these ads are, some are legit and 80% are fake. So once you click on that, right, once you click on that, the behind the script is going to run in. When the behind the script is going to run in, it is going to have an unattended connection with your laptop or your device, whichever you are utilizing. That's why whenever I take sessions, right, I always say that think before you click, pause before you play, right? So it's very important that we have to think before whatever we are clicking it out. And traditional defenses are, like it's out of the league these days. If you talk about firewalls, we have seen that in organization people are using firewalls, people are using switches, right? So these are old techniques. It's very easy for a script kiddie to do the brute force attack on the firewall or to the switches and all, right? Then we have a struggle with encrypted multi-cloud traffic. So we have AWS, we have GCP, we have Alibaba Cloud, we have Azure. Have you guys heard about Azure? Right? So the best thing is that if you know Azure, right, within the Azure you do have a free student plan. Sign up, explore the Azure. Before getting into a cyber security is pretty much important that your networking concept should be very clear. The cloud concept should be very clear. Whenever you are going to give interview, nobody is going to ask you about what is phishing. Nobody is going to ask. If you are really giving an interview, right? In smaller organization, they might ask you as a SOC L1 that, okay, tell me what is phishing. What is phishing? What is phishing? What is pig butchering? Have you heard about pig butchering? So there are, whenever there would be other kind of sessions, right? We're going to walk through about all these attacks and attack vectors. How many of you are aware of MITRE attack framework? What is that, MITRE attack framework? Okay, so MITRE attack framework is basically a kind of framework which actually attackers utilize. So these are the techniques and tactics which we have to cover in terms of how the attacker is going to behave, right? Let's suppose if you click on a phishing email and it's a similar page like Gmail or your PSIT login page, right? Obviously you are going to put your credentials onto that, right? So cyber crime fraud that you see in news, right? That okay, someone got fraud for 10 lakhs, for 22 crores, right? Organizations is getting ransomware. How these things are happening? It's all about the mind game. So cyber crime and cyber security is basically all about the psychological bombings. It's a psychological war. That how a fraud, a cyber fraud is actually getting into your mind and convincing you to do all those things. Right? You have heard about digital arrest. Many of you have heard about digital arrest, right? So how they are actually doing it? Anyone? How they are actually, do you guys know that? They are not sitting in India. They are not sitting in India. They are sitting in Myanmar. They are sitting in Cambodia, Laos, Malaysia, Thailand, and wearing the dress and acting as a police, right? So these traditional defense, zero. And after I would say that after 5 years, nobody is going to talk about traditional defenses. It's all AI driven approach. We have firewalls which are AI level firewalls, which is going to detect the attacks automatically. The brute force attack, right? The DDoS attack. How many of you are aware of DDoS attack? What is actually? It is something, what is botnet? Bombarding, right? Yeah, so when you do a bombarding, so how actually it is going to happen? Let's suppose I'm going to give you a real life example. Let's suppose I wanted to do a DDoS attack on PSIT website. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a environment using a AWS. Within that, I'm going to run a cron job using the Python script, and it's going to send the small packets every 5 minutes, right? When it is going to send a packets every 5 minutes, the site is not going to handle billions of packets at like within a minute. The site is going to get down, right? That's a real example of DDoS attack. Now, if we talk about this AI blockchain solutions, right? So blockchain is basically about learning what we are getting inside the data, right? What amount of data we are getting, whether the data is trustable, whether we are going to verify the data or not. And there are many languages models that we are going to look into, right, which is going to streamline the entire process, right? Automated intelligence threat containment. How good it is, right? You are working in an organization and within your mailbox a phishing email landed. You clicked on a phishing email, automatically you are going to get a screen saying that this is a phishing email and send it to our IT team, right? Or once you get the email within your inbox, right, the email is already getting quarantined and already getting blocked inside your environment. So this is what it is called as automated intelligence. So we are going to see SOAR. How many of you are aware of SOAR? SOAR playbooks? Automation, right? We know automation, right? Automation is like we wanted to automate something, right? So in that case, we are going to automate what we actually have to do. Let's suppose that we found that this IP address is malicious. Now those days are gone when you are going to go inside the firewall and do the blocking for this malicious IP address. No, AI is going to help you for that. Blockchain is going to help you for that, right? Then we have a tamper-proof audit trails ensuring accountability, which means that within your device, right? Let's suppose you have Microsoft security release patches for all the updates, right? And you do have a tamper protection. You go onto a Google Drive and you click on any, and the file got downloaded into a .exe format, and which is actually undetectable, right? So it is going to tamper your device. So how blockchain and AI is going to help you? They are going to segregate the entire data and they are going to correlate from the external source whether that particular exe file is malicious or not. So for an example, if you get a malicious URL, so how you are going to get an understanding whether this URL is malicious? How? How we are going to know that this URL is malicious? Have you heard about virus total? Right? So within the virus total, right, when we are going to do a practical session, we are going to see that how actually SOC level 1 and SOC level 2 works, right? We are going to see that how blockchain and AI is actually working to mitigate the attack and provide the recommendations automatically. Then you have a decentralized intelligence for holistic defense, right? So we have different kind of EDR tools, which is endpoint detection and response. We have different XDR tools, which is extended detection and response, and we have MDR tools, which is managed detection and response, right? So decentralizing the intelligence is actually done by them. So behind the tool, you have machine learning algorithms, which is actually working. Now, if you wanted to know that which algorithms it is actually working, so you've heard about Olama, you've heard about DChan, you've heard about BERT, right, which is by Google. right? So it is going to run behind that, is going to segregate that, many signals are going to come in, is going to fine tune it out, verify it, trust it, then it is going to make a decentralized intelligence, right? Any questions? Okay. Now AI in cybersecurity, right? This slide is going to actually explain about quantum resilient blockchain and federated CTI, right? It is going to tell you about how we are going to get interdisciplinary opportunities to get an understanding about AI in cybersecurity. So what is AI in cybersecurity? Anyone? Any understanding about AI in cybersecurity? How AI is going to help in cybersecurity? Anyone? Okay. So there are core techniques that if you go to Google, which is like, I'm sure that you guys are using ChatGPT, I'm sure that you're using Gemini or Claude or Grok, right? Everyone uses that for their projects and all, right? So if you talk about this is basically a robustic approach where cybersecurity alerts, detections, response, AI is going to handle it out. So we do have a unsupervised learning, which means that there would be a clustering of data where everything is going to get into a one place, right? Because for an example, you do have your PSIT login IDs, right? And there are many students who are going to log in, and there is an enormous amount of data that is actually going to get generated, right? How with that data, how we can make an understanding that okay, X student is actually malicious or X student is actually compromised. But that comes into a unsupervised learning, right? There are there are actually anomalies which is going to get detected using unsupervised learning, right? It also helps us in terms of UBA functionalities. UBA means user behavior. Whether user logged in from Kanpur or user logged in from, for example, Lucknow, Punjab, right? So there would be a large amount of data. So how we can probably have, there would be algorithms that is actually going to detect the anomalies, the behavior of the user. Let's suppose X is downloading more than 100 files in 1 minute. So why it is downloading the file in 1 minute, right? So that's an anomaly. So it is going to have one bypass filter for unsupervised learning, right? Deep RL, right? So let's suppose we have a honeypot in place. If you work in any organizations, right, especially in security, they are going to offer any kind of honeypot, right? They are going to have a deceptive model stating that, okay, this is a honeypot. When any attacker is going to get in, first they are going to hit on the deceptive model, honey trap, right, or honeypot, right? So once they get into it, then there would be a deep they are going to get into it, and the logs are going to get generated, and the detection rules are going to get automatically created. So when the rear user kicked in, the things are going to get blocked automatically, and the alert is going to get generated, right? Then we have a NLP, which is natural language processing. So you might be reading a couple of articles in security that this got 0 day, or this company got compromised, ransomware, malware, right? How they extract IOCs from the dark web, right? So I was just sitting it out when I was creating a presentation yesterday, right? I thought what unique thing I could probably show in terms of students to PSIT. I thought extracting of IOCs. We're going to see in a practical session that if you give one document to AI, right, and say that extract all the IOCs. What are IOCs? Before I start with IOCs, right, what are IOCs? Artifacts, right? Yeah, some kind of, yeah, it's right. What? Anyone else? IOCs? IOCs is basically indicator of compromise. Whenever any attack happens onto any organization, they have a incident response team. they have a forensic team. They are going to collect the data that okay, from this IP address, this URL, this hash, this domain, the attack is actually happened, right? So when you collect all those data, the artifact which you said, right, that is actually a indicator of compromise. And they publicly, you know, like they send this data to government so that other companies should not be getting compromised, right? So that they can block all these IP addresses, URLs, domains, and everything, right? That we see in natural language processing, right? Then we have assemble methods, right? It's basically a technique, right, where actually we are boosting the entire logs that we are getting, the automation part, right, the SOAR part, right, where we are getting the data, right, and after getting the data, we are streamlining the data, which means that we are making it hygiene. Then we are going to process in the scene tool. That we call it as assemble methods, right, which means that boosting and stacking techniques combining multiple models, right, like what we are actually doing, not we, Microsoft, Google, right, SIEM tools, right. Have you heard about Splunk, ArcSight, Microsoft Sentinel, Microsoft Defender, right? So all these are using assemble methods, right? They are using different kind of models to detect the user anomaly, to detect the IP anomaly, to detect the device anomaly, right? They are getting all those things, right? That is called assemble models. So as I said that these methods feed real-time risk scores. They have a risk scores. Let's suppose student X is logging in from 5 different places, downloading more than 100 files, right, and visiting suspicious sites. The risk score is going to correlate and make it as high, right? So based on that, the real-time risk scores are get into, and then we have a SOAR playbooks for automation and containment. The user's access is automatically revoked. The X student signing is already blocked. The IP address is already blocked, and the email is automatically sent to the ID team, right? That's how the SOAR playbooks for automation containment is happening. That we call it as core AI technique for defense, right? Because many companies, right, let me give an example. In 2022, when I was training TCS employees, right, TCS, Accenture, Wipro, right, and same in Microsoft Sentinel, Microsoft Defender, right, there were couple of things they were asking me, that how it is different from traditional. So traditional is that you manually do all the things. You do scraping manually, you block everything manually, right? You run the antivirus scan manually. How many of you are there that when you find something malicious within your device, right, you go and run the antivirus scan? You guys do that, right? You do a CC cleaner also. But how many of you use CC cleaner or Vice cleaner? For you, right? CC cleaner is already compromised, right? If you are using it, your data is already to the Chinese group, if you are actually utilizing it out, right? Because that is actually a loophole. Never use Chinese products in your device. So AI driven structure, right? How many of you are aware of NIST cybersecurity framework? No one? So NIST cybersecurity framework is basically a kind of framework, right, which entire world utilize when they are doing any kind of security operations. When you are going to give the interview, right, as I said, nobody is going to ask you what is phishing. No, people are going to ask you this: what is NIST cybersecurity framework? How you are aligned with cybersecurity framework? They are going to tell you that. Ingest. So if you talk about ingest, right, you are ingesting the entire organization data into SIEM tool or Defender tool, right? This is ingesting it out. Here it says MISP feed and CTI brokers. MISP, have you heard about MISP? Malware information sharing platform, right? So MISP is basically, like an open source. Once we are done with the session, right, you can Google it out, what is MISP. It's actually an open source where entire organizations, even my organizations, is collaborated with MISP. So we share data related to malicious artifacts, whether this is malicious IPs, malicious hashes, URLs, and domains. So we ingest all those things into MISP. MISP is going to correlate everything automatically. You just need to integrate with your SIEM tool. Let's suppose student X and Y logged in from different countries. MISP is going to raise it as a flag, saying that this is something malicious, because it has a IOC, indicator of compromise, within the MISP platform. Same is CTI, which is cyber threat intelligence. It is more advanced, where you have a AI in place. Like if it founds that this IP address is malicious, it is going to give you the reputation, just from which ransomware group this IP address was associated with, right? Which malware family this IP address was associated with, right? You are going to get all those things in picture, right? Then you have a enrich. What is enrich in a simple language? Enrich. I'm sorry. Enrich. Yeah, improve. I would probably put like this: enrich means to get something new out of the data that we have, right? So enrich. So once you are ingesting all the signing logs or device data into a security solution, right? So the data ingestion which you are ingesting, right, which is already integrated with MISP feeds and CTI, now the enrich is going to happen. You don't have to touch anything. The machine learning algorithms, right, and the GPU which is actually accelerating the analysis, right, it is going to tell you automatically within the SIEM tool, and the alert is going to get generated. X employee got compromised, X user got compromised, right? IP address is from Russia. This is the ISP, right? The internet provider that they are actually utilizing, right? This is associated with this ransomware group, as I said previously, right? Malware family, right? So this is enrich. It automatically is going to give you enhancement process tree, that this IP address belongs from this family and everything in a layman language, right? Because sometimes what happens that, you know, like the security analyst is technical. However, if you talk about the SOC managers, they are not that much technical. So they wanted to see in a proper layman's language if they are going to present into executive. That's, we call it as process tree, which is going to be a pictorial representation about this IP address is malicious or not and everything, right? Then you have a smart contract. Now the blockchain comes into the picture. Blockchain is going to identify, blockchain is going to analyze, blockchain is going to verify, blockchain is going to give you the trust, yeah, this is true, right? I'm not covering what is blockchain, go and Google it, right? There's no point of covering what is blockchain, because these days we all have chat GPTs. Go and type what is blockchain, get all the information. So there's no point of me telling you the bookish language. Rather, I should show you something practical, right? So this is an automated response is going to happen when we have a smart contracts, right? As I said previously, you know, like the verify, the trust, and everything is going to happen, right? The automation response is going to trigger automatically, right? The notification to the employees is going to send automatically to the IT team, the blocking, right? The scanning of the antivirus, the cleaning of the device, collecting the forensic data from the device, from the server, from the firewall, everything is going to happen automatically, right? So to everyone who is sitting here, right, if you have to break into cyber security, it's very much important that you are well versed with the technology that currently we are having, rather than going and saying that, oh, I know how to see IP address as malicious, I'll go to VirusTotal or I'll ask the chat GPT. No, right? Then you have a blockchain in picture, which is going to give you the immutable observation, right, as a proof, saying that this user or this organization or this device is 100% compromised in terms of probability, right? Like 90% this is compromised, 100% this is compromised, right? As I said at the you know, like a screenshot, right? This modular pipeline ensure evidence that we are actually getting from the logs is safe, and we have a federated learning based on it, right? We have, and there's no raw data because everything is streamlined, so that like the SOC analysts, the SOC managers, right, and the CISO, they are able to see what is actually happened, because raw data nobody is going to analyze it out, right? We can analyze it now, just copy and paste into ChatGPT and it's going to analyze it for you. However, you are leaking the company's data, because ChatGPT is an open source, right? It is going to train whatever data you are going to give it. So you are leaking the data. Now comes blockchain primitives, right? So blockchain's core primitive creates a new foundation for security, replacing the centralized trust with cryptographic and distributed consensus, right? So there are models which every SIEM tool or XDR solution utilizes, which is Byzantine fault tolerance and Merkle trees. This is actually a model, right? It is going to tell you whether again, this is an algorithm which is running behind. Someone develop it out, and that is named by their name, right? Right, ensure data integrity is there, right? Resilience is there, right? What malicious actor is going to have. So that's a model name that we have. Then we have smart contract, which is automating the policy, right? How the malicious actors get into, what data we are getting, right? This is smart contracts, where we are going to get it out, what transparency it is having, what trust we have in that amount of data. We can get everything in picture. Then we have DIDs, which is decentralized identifier, which is actually giving you the PKI and eliminating single points of failure. Now we have a SIEM tool in place. We have a like AI in place. What about the uptime? Whether this is going to be 100% uptime? What if it is going to get down and the attacks are happening? This is not able to this is not going to detect, right? In that case, we have a decentralized identifiers, right, which is actually self-healing. If it is down, it is going to go on a fallback. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C. Plan A gets failed, then we have Plan B. Plan B gets failed, we have Plan C. In a simple term, I am telling you, right? So that like it's a decentralizing everything, right? My EDR is down, the attacks are happening, the organization is compromised. How then what is the use of AI? That's why we have a decentralized identifiers in place. AI blockchain convergence, right? Hybrid intelligence, right? As you see the screen, as I said that Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, you have a local nodes, which is going to train private data. Private data means your user data, your device data, so that the data is not getting leaked, right? It's going to train it out. Then you have a model updates, the hashes. I think most of you are aware or not, whenever you put password on Gmail or Facebook, right, it's actually saved into hashes, right? It's not saved into admin@123, no, nothing like that, right? Hashes is and signatures are going to be, then it's a global ledger, which I said about the blockchain is going to have an immutable record. It's going to record everything in place, right? And then it is going to design so that any kind of data poisoning is not happening, right? Any kind of data leakage is not happening. So this hybrid intelligence is going 24/7 into 365, right? Now let's see how end-to-end SOC pipeline works when you are working in Microsoft, when you are working in Google. So you see that, right? So this is a SOC activity. So it's very blur, right? Is it for me or for everyone? Everyone, right? Okay. So it's a beautiful screenshot, and this is one of our customers' data, right? So if you see that the SOC activity, the alert, the enrichment, the responses, right, which is actually happening, you get all these alerts in place, and the SOC analyst is sitting and monitoring it out, doing investigations, right? And then you have a blockchain login, automatically it is happening within the ticketing tool. The data is getting sent for that particular alert, the verified, the trustable data, whether the like the user got compromised, the enrichment is happened or not, what logs we are getting for that user, the file downloads, the website it is visited. So how many of you are aware that whatever you do inside your laptop or browser, even your bookmarks, your history, everything is traceable, even if you delete it, right? So whenever like you get a chance, right, go to app data, go to Google Chrome or Mozilla. Your, everything is, it is not getting deleted. So whenever cyber forensic expert is going to examine any kind of attack, right, they take all the data from there. These days it's like, let's suppose your device is connected to PSIT, right? So there are techniques that even if you are working on that laptop, right, or device, right, I can easily do the live response without your interference, which means that I'm analyzing your data, what you are visiting, I can see that, right? If you are into a domain, even your click, how many times you have clicked, everything is trackable, right? Then we have a blockchain login, then we have a AI analysis, right? So how many of you are aware of APT? What is APT? A little bit louder. Somehow it's right, but yeah, the first part is incorrect. Anyone? APT? Yeah. Advanced persistent threats, right? Advanced persistent threats, right? We have, whenever you get time, just search different kinds of APTs. Right? You're going to read that. APT 31, 22, there are many Russian APTs, Ukrainian APTs, right? Brazilian APTs, even Indian APTs are there, right? Which is actually scraping the entire world, right? Even the government sites, your government sites, your school sites. Last year, IIT Delhi, IIT Bombay, IIT Bihar, right? Their site were compromised by the Chinese attacker, right? So you can probably track everything based on it, right? So it's going to detect everything, right? It's very easy to bypass any security tool. It's very easy. Okay? Organizations like Microsoft, Google, they are building defenses, right? And they are building AI defenses. However, they are not seeing that whatever you build, it is going to have a vulnerability. Right? And nothing is permanent. No tool is 100% bulletproof. That's why you've heard about big bounty programs, right? That's why we have big bounty programs, and I'm sure that if you see that the security researcher is getting $10,000 for this bounty, right? So much of money is getting invested in that. Why? Because you have APTs in place. If they are not going to do that, APTs is going to do it. Then they're going to hack it, right? So you have a detect slope on AI. On a logger run, this ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, they are built on the same platform. But if you run same analysis on different platforms, they are going to give different outputs. Why? Anyone? Okay, but if you Google your name, right, you're going to get the same data. So how it is different? Yes, that's correct, right? So data sets is same. The type of algorithms they are having, it's totally different, right? If you remember, you have Gmail, you have Hotmail or Outlook, right? You have everything in place, right? You have different features in it. The design is totally different. The way they do emailing is different, but the concept is same, right? So AI is going to analyze the behavior of the users, the reputation of the IP address, right? The data whichever you are getting in a raw format or a JSON format, which we usually get it out, right, is going to streamline in a proper way and give you the results. Okay, so that's it. So as I said that blockchain is actually giving trustable information, traceability information, and then resilience in terms of the data integrity, right? So whatever, as I said, every action is like whatever you do right inside your device, right? Every action is verifiable, every decision is traceable, and system resilience to tampering, enabling big bounty payouts via smarter contracts, right? Which means that whenever something is built, right, big bounty hunters, like break into it, they get information, they are getting paid, then the patching is happening for the Google Chrome and many more things, right? The softwares and all. Research and future directions, right? So that like how you all are doing BTech or MTech or PhD, 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 right? PhD scholar, right? So specific. Huh? Also BTech, right? Okay, she said that she's from PhD. Okay. So it's very, like I would suggest that if you have a capability to do MTech, right, go for it, especially in cybersecurity or data science or AI. Then only you can probably get an understanding. Now, if you have something financially, no, I have to do a job, then that's a different part. To be very transparent and honest, right? And then go for a job definitely. And if you wanted to do MTech or PhD, or if you are enrolled into PhD, this is for you, right? So you have a explainable neural networks, right? You have a deep learning materials which is available in Kaggle, right? Have you heard about Kaggle, right? Right? You have a data sets, go and train it out, right? There are a lot of opportunities. So many attacks are happening. Take the data for last 5 years, how attacks are actually happening, create something model, right? How actually attack happen through phishing, through clicking, right? Through device vulnerability, create something new based out of it, right? You can have quantum resilience in place, utilize blockchain, develop softwares related to blockchain, right? When organizations are actually look for the privacy of the data, whether my data is leaking or not, right? If Kaggle is going to give you the data, if you get the data from somewhere else, right? How the data is going to currently being utilized, you have to see that, right? Then you have a federated CTI. You can sell your data to the federated CTI, which means big players like Mandiant, which is Google, right? Have you heard about Mandiant? No. Mandiant, right? Give your data to Mandiant, right? Give your data to Microsoft Threat Intelligence, right? They can train their model and you get paid for that, right? You can do all those things. Now, last, you have a conclusion, right? So, a call for interdisciplinary research, right? There are many research institutions in India and outside India which is seeking for the AI informations. So, 2018, right, when I was working on a data set, there was no AI in place, right? So, AI is actually garbage, I would say that. Go and ask ChatGPT. Sometimes ChatGPT is going to give you a wrong information. Right? Ask about the population of India, wrong information, right? Go and ask Gemini, wrong information, right? So I would probably suggest if you are going to use the this AI platforms, right? You should, before that you should go and do prompt engineering. You know what is prompt engineering? Give commands, right? If I have to ask that what is the population of India, if simply I type this, right, it's not going to give me the correct results, right? Now if I change my prompt and say that act as a strategist and now give me the population of India, right? So if you go to this Coursera, right? If you have heard about Coursera, Coursera and Microsoft, they are actually giving free codes for prompt engineering. Go and do that. You're going to understand that how, like prompting is actually being given. Right? Sometimes you use banana, right, in Gemini to generate images. It generates pathetic images, right? But if you know prompt engineering, you can create realistic images also, right? So based on that, how well you are doing prompt engineering, you can probably do a research, Then this comes into a picture. Collaborate. You drop an email to smaller companies, not big players, right? Big five, no, smaller companies, right? Give them your tools, right? Create your tool, how it is happening. Publish your findings into a research papers, right? This is very much important. Let's suppose if you are sitting in an interview, right, and if you say that I have these many papers, if you are giving like big four interviews like Microsoft, Google, IBM, right, Apple, right, then they look for AI papers, right? You have a good reputation based on it. You are making your CV weightage, the certifications. How many of you have like you all are in BTech third year? BTech third year, right? How many of you have done cloud fundamental certification from Azure? No one, right? You guys should do it. Every company, when you're going to give an interview, right, they're going to ask about any certifications. You say no. The first point, the impression is zero. Certifications are important. It's going to give weightage to your personality. It's going to give weightage to your entire interviewing process. AI cloud certification, which we call it as AZ500 or AZ100, right? AZ100 is a basic fundamental. Go and give that out, right? Then yeah, whatever, if you wanted to pursue your MTech or PhD, then you can probably collaborate with different kind of organizations. They can give your data. You are going to sign an MU with them. Based on that, whatever data they give, you just play around, right, and create something, right? That's how you are going to learn. Okay, so this is bonus for everyone, right? You can scan it from your mobile phone. Now this, you are going to get, I'm not sure how much GB data it is, but yeah, that's a Google Drive, right? You have a cyber security breaking into cyber security. You have everything. If you even SOC L3, right, for which the salary package is 50 lakhs per annum, you have the data for that. How to get into that? How to get? You have a Google Drive, learning about cyber security from the scratch, from zero to hero. You have everything in place. You can get an understanding about it, right? You can get everything in place and get an understanding how you have, so that you have breaking into cyber security. I hope it is working right. I made it active, working right. You have everything in place. And the first slide, right? If you have, if you feel like you wanted to know anything in cyber security, and see that if you wanted to look into how we do SOC, so this is my LinkedIn profile, the scanner. If you can scan it, you can get it. So on the right hand side, you have a scanner where you can scan it. You can see my profile. So in this session, like I was not more into, like technical jargons, right? So because like faculties are already teaching you that. There's no point for me to tell you what is blockchain, what are models, what is NLP, right? There's no point. You can probably study by yourself. The main motive was to give you a practical experience. The practical experience, how we work in SOC. Now let me give you an example, right? Now we are done with the session. So when I started cyber security back in 2010, so when I was telling my family and relatives that I am into security, the people used to laugh, say that, what is security? Then I moved into 2014, cyber security. Still they were asking what is cyber security, right? And now you know that what is cyber security, right? Everyone is, like trying to get into cyber security, right? And if you are specialized in cyber security, like we hire people from IITs, right? And a starting package, we give 35 lakhs per annum, right? Starting package. And there's no bonus into that, right? no variables that okay 15 lakhs is salary and 15 lakhs is bonus. No, straight away 35 lakhs, right? So that's a starting package that we actually give. And my company is not in India, right? My company is in Malaysia, Japan, Hong Kong, and US. Right? So we deal with customers outside India, right? You have heard about IRCTC, which you make your train tickets, right? In the same way, we have a project which is called Prasarana Barhal. Prasarana Barhal is the IRCTC of Malaysia, right? So we handle these level of projects, right? I'm going to tell you about the real scenario. So how many of you are aware of Telegram? Telegram, right? Most of the attackers are in Telegram, right? The hacking group, right? So when we were tracking, so we have a team of security, we have team of threat hunting, security, a DFIR, right? So I got a message that saying that okay, the Prasarana site is going to get hacked before they attack. So what they were doing, right? They have their group by the name of UN531. I don't know how they get into the knowledge that the website is going to get attacked. The entire IRCTC kind of stuff, right, is going to get on halt, right? They were abusing in their Telegram that Malaysia government is something, right? And we are going to hack. Malaysia is actually known for its network security. Malaysia, network security, right? But however, when they say that, right, that we are going to attack, and after 1 hour the attack started, the DDoS attack, right? And the site was down for 15 minutes. And we were able to recover it out. But this is how when you are going to work in a larger organization, right? Now we work with we work with Malaysian government also, right? The Ministry of Public Health, Foreign Affairs, right? Whatever data they have, we keep it secure so that it is not getting leaked, right? So this is all we do. Now I would love to hear questions from you guys if you have anything. Any questions? Feel free to ask. Anyone? Yeah. You have to be louder. Okay. Yeah. Okay. This CISSP, right? CISSP is one of the biggest certification, I would probably say that, in security. If someone is CISSP certified, right, it means that he is holding more than 10 years of experience. You are allowed to give CISSP after 8 years, right? CISP, right? Then you have CISM. CISM is Certified Information Security Manager. Let's suppose that you have more than 10 years of experience, right? And you are handling a team of 350 people, right? Then that certification is required. Let's suppose if you are in a company, right? And the company is dealing with different kind of customers, right? The customer is going to say that, okay, how many of you are CISM or CISSP inside your organization? So that is actually giving an organization a credibility, a trust. Look, these people are CISSP certified. These people are CISM certified. Then you have SC100. SC100 is Microsoft Certified Cyber Security Architect, right? So whatever Microsoft that you see, right, the security tools, the Defender and all. So if someone is certified, they can probably configure it out, configure it and deploy something. Then you have SC200. This is the basic SOC L1 certification, which is Microsoft Certified Security Analyst. Then you have SC400, which is Identity and Security Management. When you work in an organization, right, you have heard about Active Directory, right, in server, right? So this is no more in place now. We have Intra ID. Intra is the new word for Azure Active Directory. So that is how you manage it, how you have group membership, how you have password reset for the users, right? How you can probably put into the group. Then you have AZ500, which means that you can configure anything within the Azure. Then you have MCT, which is Microsoft Certified Trainer. You are allowed to train organizations, right? They check your certification number before you give. You are not going to get any training advice, right? If you are not MCT. Yeah. Any further questions? Any further questions? No? Okay. So let me show you something, right? Let me show you real SOC scenario, how it actually works. Oh, I'm internet connection password. It's constant. Not connecting. Huh? Let me show them the reports today. What happened? The password was incorrect? Yes. बड़ी गर्मी है यार यहाँ पे. क्यों? काफी like it's too blur, right? It's too blur, right? Okay. Why this is not sharing? This. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Now if you let me full screen. Now if you see this, right? So this is Prasarana, right? So this is how the reports are getting generated. When you work in a security team, right, or a cyber security team, the customers are going to love about what your SLAs are. What are SLAs? Anyone? What are SLAs? Service level agreements, right? Service level agreements is actually we make sure that the customer incidents are going to get acknowledged in certain time and going to get resolved in certain time, right? These are SLAs. So this is the executive summary in a month, right? How many incidents got generated, what was the average time of triaging, which means our security team is triaging it out. Then we have an average time of resolution. Resolution time might differentiate because like we get in touch with the customer, we keep the ticket on hold, so it might go high, right? Then how many are true positive incidents? As I when in the at the starting of this session, right, I told you about what is true positive. What is true positive? Yeah, true attacks, right? A true positive. Then we segregate in terms of high severity incidents. So in a month we get 89 incidents, and our with the customer wants everything in a simple layman language. They do not want technical wordings. They only know what is cyber security. That's it. If you tell them what is brute force attack, they are going to say that I'm not interested in knowing the brute force attack. I only know that tell me whether we are safe or not. Tell me whether we have solved these incidents in your SLA or not. Because if you are not going to do that, there is a penalty. Right? You have to give the penalty to the customer. And this is the performance benchmark. As I said earlier, we do have a NIST cybersecurity framework, right? I already spoke about that, right? Where there's a SOC industry standard framework where it tells about when the incident is going to get acknowledged, resolved in terms of high, medium, low informational alerts, right? Then this is a key insights. We tell them this is an incident analysis. How many were high, medium, low, and informational? Then that's a pie chart, right, on the right hand side. Then we have a top level of security incidents. Now, if you see that, right, detection of multi-layer redirect tactic used to steal Microsoft 365 login credentials, which is actually known as session cookie hack, right? Then we have a password spray, Palo Alto spyware, and so many. This is based on the number. Then you have an incident type, how we get it out, incident classification. So now you see that customer wants to know that they do not want to know that true positive, false positive. So we have changed the name into confirm threat blocks, right, which means true positive. Under investigation, benign positive. False alarm, false positive. Safe activity identified, false negative, right? We get all those things. We give a percentage based on it. Then we talk about MITRE framework also, right, in our session, and how blockchain is shaping it out, right? So this is how MITRE attack techniques is impact, persistence, collection. Based on this, we are going to get it. This is how we get it out. Trend analysis based on it. Which attacks are increasing, which attacks are decreasing. Customers are going to love that out, right? Then you have a threat intelligence. We spoke about CTI, we spoke about MISP, right? So all this data is actually coming from the MISP, right? Then you have a user activity analysis, right? Signing was blocked, device authentication got failed, right? Tokens. So are you guys aware that whenever you log in, right, there is a session cookie which gets generated, right? And if you can grab the session cookie, you do not need any password or MFA. There's no required. There are many tools available in the market. If you Google it out, session cookie importing tool, grab the cookie, import it out. You are into the user or staff account, right? Then you have addition of groups, right? How many group got added, deleted, updation. Customers are going to love this out. Malicious signing attempts, right? From where the users are actually logging in, what source countries they are actually having. Now this is actually a global threat map, right? From where the attacks are actually happening. This is a live scenario which I am currently showing. This is the report from November 3rd, right? Recent report. So these are the attack which is actually happening in Prasarana's environment, which is the IRCTC of Malaysia, right? Now you see that so many attacks are happening from China, South Korea, United States, Brazil, India, so many, right? User accounts authentications, new users got added, recommendations, we give recommendations to our customers that what we have, what you have to do, what was the response time, quality of the alert, authentication and everything. And this is what that's the end part of the report, right? This is the like every customer is going to get about the monthly report. Now, how many of you heard about abuse DB? Have you guys heard about abuse DB? Yes or no? No. Okay. So whenever you are going to work as a SOC intern, right, or SOC analyst, so in a scenario, right, they are only going to give you this website to look for IP address is malicious or not, or they are going to give you virus total. So abuse DB is basically a data set, right, where you get all the malicious IP addresses. As a security team, if customers are getting brute force, right, so you can simply check the domain or IP address. It can give you that how many like attacks has actually happened for that particular IP address or domain. You can get it easily. So behind this is a blockchain, right? Behind this is a AI, machine learning algorithm. I was talking about BERT. I think BERT, everyone is aware of BERT, right? Which is for Google, right? So BERT is actually running behind this. Right? This was your abuse DB. Now you see that if I click on any IP address, right? Now I'm going to get all the information for that particular IP address. Who reported it? Now you see that, right? Recently, 4 minutes ago, someone reported this IP. Right? It's a brute force SSH. Right? In the same way from where so many people do that like that. This is how the investigation is done inside the security operations. Right? Abuse. You guys are aware of virus total? Everyone knows virus total, right? Now the problem with virus total is that if the latest attack is happening probably last week, right, it is not going to give you the results. So virus total is actually not an incident response tool. That's a reputation tool, and it's not going to give like very rare people uses virus total, because all the information you are not going to get from the virus total. Now let me show you something which is NERD. So NERD is a tool from Czech Republic. Let me access the site. So it tells you about the reputation, about any IP address that you are going to put the information on. Now if you see that, right, it's going to give you information from where the IP address is blacklisted. Now again, this is interesting. The blockchain and the AI is running behind this. Based on that, when I was ending my session, right, I said that blockchain is actually helping us to get the understanding about whether the data is trustable, whether the data is verified, or whether the data is traceable or not, right? So this is how we are seeing live, stating that okay, this particular IP address, if I click on that, right, I can see that all the information, right, what from where it is actually happening, what kind of logging attempts we actually have, IP in host name, scanning activities, from where we are getting all these activities, right? We can see all those things for this particular IP addresses. Now if I have to go to Shodan, how many of you are aware of Shodan? Everyone uses Shodan, right? Why we use Shodan? Yeah, it's not only about IP address, it's about the critical infrastructure like universities, right? Government sectors, which is publicly exposed, right? Your PSIT website publicly exposed. If any kind of attack is actually happening in PSIT, you can see it from here, right? If any kind of critical ports are open within your university, you can see it from here. This is Shodan. Now this is a real life example. So this is some kind of personalized plus.com, right? And the RDP connection is open. If let's suppose I'm the attacker, right? I can create a script and it can probably brute force this RDP and I can get into this server automatically. This gives you a real life scenario, right? So this is, we have Shodan. How many of you are aware of what's my IP address? Aware, right? So this is a blacklist checker. It can check the IP address from where the blacklist is actually happened. It can give you the status, whether the IP address is listed or not, right? You can get all the information. But this is, I was talking about SAN, right? So SAN is basically having the block list, right? So whenever a new attack is happening, as I said earlier, that if any organizations are getting compromised, right, they are collecting the data and sending it to SANs, right? So whenever any organization is getting compromised, right, they have all the data over here. What attempts happened, what IP address, hashes, domains they are going to get into, right? And they have a tools option. There are many tools which are available within the SANs, right? Like if you wanted to check for any kind of reputation, right, you can check it from here. How many are aware of abuse.ch? No? Okay. So when you are going to work in security operations center, right, you are going to work into abuse.ch very often, right? And in this you are going to see that there are many platforms which are related to hunting. You have malware bazaar. Malware bazaar is basically for the malware. So let's suppose you are doing any kind of malware analysis, whether that is dynamic or whether that is static, you're going to utilize malware bazaar. You have a FIDO tracker where you can probably get the list of IP address and ingest automatically within your SIEM tool using blockchain technologies. Then you have a SSL blacklist, which means that every website is going to have SSL in place where you can probably block it automatically. That's a SpamOS technology and that's an open source project. Then you have a URL host where you get a malicious URLs where, you know, like every malware is associated with the malicious URLs. Let's suppose if I wanted to like play with PSIT, I can create a new domain PSIT.net, right? I can create that out and I can create a malware and I can send to all the students. I can create a new website. So everyone who is interested in taking admission, right, or wanted to know anything about PSIT, they might click on that using SEO technology, right? My page is going to be up, the real PSIT is going to be down, right? And we can probably, you know, like get the information about individuals. Then you have a threat fox, which is again, I spoke about indicator of compromises where you get all the IOCs, for an example, IP, hash, domains, right? URLs based on threat fox. Then you have a Yara rule. Yeah, what is Yara? Have you heard about Yara rule? No, right? Yara rules are basically detection rules, right? That's a common platform rules. We have different technology in place where you have SNOT rules, Yara rules. It actually gives us the approach how we can detect A kind of attack, B kind of attack, C kind of attack. That is Yara rules. Now let me show you how the reports are actually getting generated. Now see, this is a AI generated report. So we have created our own AI analysis platform using DChang and Olama. And based on this, this is Talent Corp. This is Ministry of Resource Talent Corp for Malaysia, right? So this is a report. Every day we send customer reports automatically, 9 a.m. Malaysian time, right? So this is Talent Corp Corporation. So Talent Corp is actually, I would say, whenever anyone is going to visit Malaysia for job or for tourism, right? The Talent Corp is keeping all the data about it, right? So this report is getting generated. What kind of active incidents you have, resolve incident, threat classification, foreign access activities, right? From where the attacks are actually happening, right? Response time. Always the response time should be less than 5 minutes. So that's why you see that high, all, medium, low, these are below 5 minutes, right? These are below 5 minutes. Then you have top threat vectors, which means that which attacks are happening more. And there's a last endpoint of report, right? So this is how you get reports for it. Then you also have a SOC reports which we send to our customers. So this was a recent, let me show you the recent attack. So this is like a kind of attack which happened, which we call it as BD swap, bidirectional text string, right? Which is actually used in fake URLs to look real, right? There are many ways that we can trick you to move from Google to Google. OO should be 0 or Latin O, right? Instead of double O, right? In Google, right? Latin O, it's going to look exactly same. Latin O, right? And we can trick you to visit and enter all your information, right? So this is what we call bidirectional text trick, right? These kind of attacks. Many attacks which is happening, which you are aware or you're not aware on a day-to-day basis, right? You Google it out, you get ads, you click on that, and you're gone, right? Your data is all 0. Right? We are going to see in our practical session, right, how we do investigation. Let me tell you, this was the site, right? This is the actual site, right? MyRapid is basically if you Google myrapid.com, right? That is actually a IRCTC of Malaysia. That was not accessible, right? That was a brute force attack which actually happened to this website, right? This was the website. So we make it online, and now like the meetings and all, it's all happening through AI. You do the meeting and all AI is summarizing everything for you. And the reports which I showed you, right, these the reports, those are all AI generated reports. We are not touching anything. Every day, every week, every month, these reports are getting generated. We are not touching. There is no human intervention, no manual work. So we have published the real-time security alerts also. So this is a 0-day publishing. So whenever any organization you are working with, they are going to keep a track of 0 days. 0 days in any product, whether this is your CRM tool, whether this is your browser, your laptop, right? You get alerts on a real-time basis. If any big bounty hunters are exploiting it out, you get the notification related to it, so that you are up to date. When we work in SOC Operations Center, right, customers are going to ask about what unique functionality you have in SOC that other organizations are not having. Why we give you this project? So based on that, we have to tell something lucrative, that why us, why not they, right? So this was the recent attack, which is Typhoon 2FA, DATEC fast collaboration, which is AITM. So have you heard about Evilgenics? Evilgenics. So we are going to see a live demo of Evilgenics, right? In Evilgenics, like it's like an email is sent to any person, right? And that's same login credential, right? And we do not need multi-factor authentication. The user is going to click on that and going to enter the password. We are going to see the password, take the screenshot and refresh it out, and we're going to have the credentials. We can access the entire Gmail. Right? They have certain kits which we call it as phishing kits. Yeah, ma'am. I think we're done, right? Yeah. Okay. Any questions that you guys are interested to ask? Feel free to ask. Okay. Let me show you this, right? As we were like talking, right? Let's see a real attack which happened. I think Malaysian time 12:48. So I got a message from Army, right? And he is the CISO for Prasurana. So what he's saying that Shivam, requesting your expert support to confirm if this issue is a Solaris type attack causing Azure 504 timeouts on on my Rapid Shop. Right, my Rapid Shop is basically a site where like you do metro card swiping, right? You book your metro tickets and all. Right? So it gives you everything. So this is basically a raw data. I'll open it out. See, so this is Prasurana, right? This is how. This is the scan summary web application. Have you heard about OAF's top 10? 10, right? What is OAF's top 10? Associated with what? Web application, right? Yes, right. Based on that, like this gives you summary, right? What is critical, what is low. It's going to scan the website automatically. It's going to say that what actually it is happening. This is a live attack that like which happened, right? And this is happening from past 10 days. Yeah. Any questions? Any questions you wanted to ask about cybersecurity or cloud security, blockchain, AI? What is generative AI? Generative AI. Generative AI. You have to be louder. Generative AI, right? Generative AI is basically your AI platforms which is publicly accessible. It gives you about an understanding on how you are mentioning the public spaces, right? On how you are scraping anything. That's the Chat GPT, the Gemini, Claude, Grok. Have you heard about Kimi? Kimi. Kimi.com. Kimi.com is far better than ChatGPT. Right? You can utilize it out and get an understanding. Okay. Any questions? Blockchain, cybersecurity, courses. I hope everyone scanned out the break into cybersecurity. Everyone, you guys have everything, right? Okay. you did not, you can scan it from here. You scan it, you can get all the resources related to cyber security. It's from zero to hero, right? How you can probably get it. When I started the conversation, I said that, right? You can have a hopeless end, or you can have an endless hope, right? Cyber security is a field where you can have a endless hope, right? Every day you're going to learn new things. Every day you're going to get new attacks, right? Every day. So it's your choice, right? Either you can lose hope or you can have an endless hope. Okay. I think yes, if we don't have anything else, oh, sorry. I hope it's working, right? All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an enlightening and insightful session. Your words have truly broadened our understanding and given us a deeper perspective on today's topic. We are extremely grateful for the time you took out of your busy schedule to share your valuable knowledge with us. Your session has not only enhanced our technical understanding, but also inspired us to explore further in this rapidly evolving domain. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to invite respected Professor Satyasundar Mahapatra, sir, to kindly present a token of gratitude to Mr. Shivam Malviya, sir.
हम यहाँ पे Thank you.
Once again, thank you, sir, for gracing us with your presence and expertise. Now we'll be having a 10 minutes break. All the students can move to C33 lab for the hands-on.